Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. It's September 28th. And as always, this is your boy Hersh. And with me tonight is Mike.
What's going on?
And the hype man, Wes.
What's good, Gator Nation?
Yes, sir. Guys, first of all, before we get started and do the usual, I want to make sure to tell everybody we hope y'all are being safe out there, all our family in Florida and areas around. Y'all be safe in this storm out there. Hope everybody's okay. If you're listening to this show, just know that y'all are with us and we're thinking about you, and we hope all of y'all have come through this good on the other side. So y'all stay safe out there. But as always, guys, you can find us on all your major podcast providers: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast. And please make sure you check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Respect Our Decision. Go ahead and turn your notifications on there and get a notification every time we upload a new video. Make sure you now leave us a comment and tell us how you like our video, or maybe any talking point that we had during the show. And if you'd like to support us as creators, as always, guys, you can visit us on Patreon and check us out at Respect Our Decision. I'd like to give a shout out to Utah Gator and Brandon Stewart as our patrons. Thank y'all so much for all of that. And as always, guys, we want to make sure we mention our sponsor, Camwood Supplements. Please, if you haven't already, go check out camwoodsupplements.com. Good, clean supplements for your workout, your post-workout, or even your digestive health. And make sure you use code RESPECT20 to save 20% off your first purchase. But with that being said, guys, we're going to jump right into it like we do every week. Got a little bit of a shorter show going on this week. Not a whole lot going on in the world of recruiting, but we're going to kick it to Wes like we do every week so he can give us a breakdown of Friday night under the lights. Wes?
Yeah, appreciate it, Hersh. Gator Nation, again, I always tell you guys to follow Hersh on Twitter from our main account, Respect Our Decision. He does a good job of letting you guys know what our commits and our targets are doing on Friday nights, and this is a quick recap of what some of the guys did. And I'll start with our quarterback of the class. It's always good to start with the quarterback. He found out his way on our list this week. He had a couple TD passes this week. Is one of his best performances this year. He did a good job. We were talking about prior weeks about his offensive line and the struggles they had, so it wasn't all on Stokes. We all know that as a quarterback, you need a good offensive line to make plays, and this week they did a good job for him, and he stood tall back there and had a couple TD passes. This guy is a regular. This is Mike's guy, Creed Whittemore, athlete. He plays quarterback in high school football. He added 2 TDs throwing on this tonight. Usually we see a lot of stuff that he does on the ground, but he actually threw 2 TD passes this Friday. But of course, I always say he does things on the ground, and he had 1 on the ground as well. So give him 3 on the night. So shout out to Creed Whittemore making the list this week. Just balling. That kid is balling. So I know a lot of our fans want somebody back there returning punts, and I can really, really see Creed Whittemore doing that next year. So shout out to Creed. Jakeem Jackson, he's still balling, man. He does play both sides of the ball in high school. A lot of great athletes do that in high school football, and he had a 61-yard TD on the screen pass this week that he took to the house. So shout out to Jakeem Jackson for balling this week and putting himself on the list for Friday Night Lights as far as the performances go. As far as targets go, this kid, I know chances kind of look slim for us getting him. A lot of Gator fans want him to pair with Treon Webb, but Cedric Baxter is continuing to make his case to be one of the, if not top 2, the best back in the country. He had 3 TDs on the night. He had 20 carries for 201 yards, and that put him already over 1,000 yards for the season. So that kid is just balling. Hopefully we can flip him. I don't know what the chances look like. I put us at 10% right now because you always have a chance if the kid is interested in your school. So I'll give us a 10% chance. I'll let Mike and Hersh speak on that if they choose to. But that kid's just he's all that, in my opinion, from everything I've seen from him. And that's it as far as the recap from Friday Night Lights. Again, like I said, you can follow our main account. Hersh does a good job there as far as giving you guys highlights of our commits to keep you guys posted on what we have coming into the coming class for 2023. Because we are a recruiting podcast, that's what we do. We want to give you guys the latest of our recruits and also the targets. You guys got anything you want to say about any of the guys that I mentioned?
No, not so much, other than Cedric Baxter is an absolute beast, and I'd love to have him, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, he ain't coming.
Yeah, if we hear he mysteriously visits a couple more times, I might believe it, but I just don't think it's happening unless he's just bored that weekend. It's a quick drive. It's a quick drive and a free game. That's all that is.
In case they forgot, he did visit week 1, right, for Utah, correct?
Yeah, he visited. He absolutely did.
He accompanied me.
I mean, but we were the biggest game in town too, and it's they're going to let him in to see the game. I mean, I take advantage of that too. I'm not trying to get anybody's hopes up. That's all I'm doing. I just want people to know something severely drastic would have to happen that I don't foresee happening, and I know Mike doesn't either.
I don't either.
I mean,
Texas has rumoredly paid a handsome sum that I don't see us matching. I just don't. I don't think Billy thinks it's prudent for a guy that's probably going to get 10, 15 carries a game in his rotation to give that guy that much money. And I just think it's that simple, honestly.
I think he kind of killed our chances when Ruben Owens committed to Louisville.
Yes, that absolutely was
so it's kind of like he's the last big one on the board, or he was the last big one on the board, so they kind of went all in on him.
Now,
if anything, Richard Young, I would say from Alabama, that's right name, correct? I want to say Richard Young from Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I put the target on him if anything, but like I said, with Ruben Owens going to Louisville. Cedric Baxter currently at Texas. That NIL deal, I do not see it at all. I would, if you had to get one, I would foresee it in the portal. And you got people like Fred Evans in the portal. There's immense talent in the portal, so I would just more have your focus there.
Yeah, you're definitely. I mean, running backs have definitely become, especially in this system.
Yep.
That's a dime a dozen kind of thing. And with Trayon coming in, I mean, we obviously are getting a good one in Webb. And then we'll add maybe someone of a little more experience, because I would assume at least, I mean, we know Naquan will be gone, and I would pretty much assume at this point Lingard would leave, regardless, just given the way that's gone. I could see him going somewhere where he'll play immediately and have a chance to do something before his, amateur career is over. So.
And I hope he does.
I hope he does too. I think
it'd be best for both parties.
Yes, I think that would be a mutually, beneficial deal for both parties for him to find a place that he could play, whether it be a smaller school out there or somewhere that fits his running style. This scheme is not for everybody.
I think maybe even Middle Tennessee State.
Heck yeah,
I
heard they made some extra money this weekend.
Hey, 1.5 minimum. I mean, that's some NIL money right there. All from about a nice little deal.
Hersh, before you move on, I know I said for them to follow you on Twitter. For the 5 Facebook followers who are not on Twitter, I will start putting the same content that Hersh does on Twitter. I will put that on our Facebook page so you can follow our recruiting for Friday Night Lights on there as well, what the commits do. So for those guys and gals who are not on Twitter, follow our Facebook page at Respect Our Decision as well. So we will have that both on both of the platforms as far as Twitter and Facebook as far as our Friday Night Lights. So that's for those guys and gals, again, who are not on Twitter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But make sure, like Wes said, guys, check for that every Friday night. And Wes will be putting that probably on Facebook either Friday evening or Saturday morning. And we call that Under the Lights. And we do that every Friday evening until football season is over. So that being said, guys, we're going to jump into a little other recruiting news that we got. Not a whole lot out there really right now. This is right now it's kind of a hit or miss kind of time in recruiting. Don't think just because there's no news though that nothing's going on, and or that all things are just going bad now that you're not hearing about a kid commit every other day or week. I mean, it's just Billy's got a plan for this, just like he had for Friday Night Lights. And I think what we're doing is trying to build towards the LSU weekend. So with that being said, I want to talk about a few prospects that we usually talk about. One being Keon Keeley. Keon Keeley visited Ohio State this last weekend. It was his second visit in about a month up there. A lot of people are starting to say that Keon Keeley might, that OSU might be the dark horse leader in this recruitment. They have really pulled out all the stops. They've got a few defensive ends in the NFL to sell to him as far as, product, whether it be Chase Young or the Bosa boys. I mean,
Larry Johnson, D-line coach.
Yeah,
that's all you got to say.
Yeah, just like Hartline on receivers, Larry Johnson is that to defensive ends.
Putting top 5 picks in at the end.
So, I mean, and then, they have LeBron James up there to shake his hand and everything else. So they're not shying away from pulling out all the stops. Caden McDonald was also up there with him this last weekend. I haven't heard any reports about how his visit went, but he was at Michigan the week before that. So he's just making the rounds. Still believe it's us and Clemson in that recruitment. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if he has a timetable right now. He's a very quiet kid. He doesn't put out a whole lot of information. If you were cruising social media today, you may have seen that a report came out of a quote from Cormani McClain saying that he might be going ahead and trying to get this over with here shortly, that he's ready for the process to be over. I don't know how accurate this quote is all the way. Cormani does not say a whole lot to anyone. So take anything you ever see that is a quote from Cormani, unless you hear it, with a grain of salt. But as of right now, his only official visit scheduled is Alabama on the 8th. Don't take that as, oh no, why doesn't he have an official visit scheduled to Florida? He's already been to Florida so many times. But I would not be surprised if before or right after that visit, we hear about him scheduling a visit on the 15th for that LSU weekend. As we've already said, they're really gearing that up to be a big weekend. I know that they're trying to get Keeley back for that weekend. So I really got a feeling, like I said about Billy and his plan for Friday Night Lights, that this is a very similar styled plan that he's trying to build up for, to have all these elite recruits there in one big weekend and get people caught up in the hype. I still, in the back of my mind, I feel like that maybe is why Dejon Johnson has not committed yet, that maybe they're saving that for that weekend. I know a lot of people think that's risky. Silence are risky, but it's a new day and age on a lot of that kind of stuff. And if promises have been made and, so to speak, terms may have been met, that doesn't matter quite as much. One other prospect that we can possibly expect to see for that weekend, as announced by Chad Simmons on On3 today, is Q Russaw out of Alabama, defensive end. And if he goes ahead and commits to making a visit that weekend, I would expect his teammate Smith to come right behind him, and both of them come that weekend. They've pretty much talked the whole time about being a package deal. That rarely works out, but this could be one of those situations where it does. I have no doubt that Bama would take both of them. I know we would take both of them. They're both very elite prospects. I know Auburn is working really hard to get him on campus as well, but there's more speculation of that coaching position by the day. So, I know Harsin was having to fend off things today, people saying that he's already been told he's out. So I wouldn't really worry about Auburn in that recruitment unless something really drastic happened. And they're
not going to Auburn.
No, they're not going to Auburn. They've got offers from Bama, Florida, and everywhere else. Auburn's a leftover school. I mean, if you look at a lot of recruiting battles
Billy did tell them no.
Hmm?
Billy did tell them no.
Yes, he did. Billy told them and Tennessee no, and South Carolina. One last piece of recruiting news from Corey Bender over at On3 today. He tweeted out that offensive tackle Caden Jones out of Louisiana has stated that Florida is still his leader. I know we're still trying to get Roderick Kearney to flip, but Caden Jones would be a big get. Very big offensive tackle out of Louisiana would be a tremendous get. And as we've said, we need some offensive line commits in this class. We need at least 2 more. So hopefully Caden's one of those. So that's it right now, guys. Currently for recruiting news, like I said, not a whole lot out there, but give it a couple weeks, and I think we'll start hearing about these visits starting to stack up for that LSU weekend. Probably have a few for homecoming, and I would assume as well for Missouri. Maybe not officials, but definitely I think Caden McDonald is actually scheduled right now to official visit for that weekend, but we'll just have to wait and see. We'll talk about that on next week's show when we get a visitors list going for the Missouri game. So with all that being said, guys, we're going to move on to some team things. So, as we recorded the Raw Reaction the other day, the rankings came out, and since that recording, we're currently unranked, which is proper. I mean, we shouldn't be right now. 2 losses, even though both of them were the top 10 teams. But we got a little stretch of games now where we can make a run. So this is when we need to jump back up in there before we get to Jacksonville and make that game a national talking point if we can. New depth chart was just released this evening, and we got some good news on there. I say a lot of surprising news. One big piece of news is that Trey Dean was listed as out with a lower body injury, and that Kamari Wilson will be starting in his place. Guys, what y'all think about that?
Wes? I'm trying to be good here, man. I mean,
I'm put him on the spot.
These are the type of games that I'm coming into Billy's first year. I wish, we started with Utah. That's a non-conference game that's on the schedule. You lose a smaller school. So this is kind of the perfect week to not wish an injury on Trey Dean. Never wanted to wish injury on a player, but this is the type of game that you want to see Kamari start in. Kamari start in to see what he can do, against a school that we should beat, that handle that we are more talented than to get his feet wet. Almost like a preseason game, when you have draft picks and you want to see them play. So big shout out to him. My boy Boone from South Carolina. Good to see him on the roster, on the depth chart as well. But as far as Kamani, as far as the depth chart in general, I wish Travis Johnson, that's Mike's boy, that to me was the biggest thing. I still want Travis.
Yeah, and real quick, Wes, just to keep it on Kamari for a second, I'm just glad, it looks like it was production. I mean, he's probably injured, but I think production was also done.
Well, also of note, last week, Kamari was backing up Johnson, and they moved him.
I think he's more of a DB, though, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, especially, Perkins was, I want to say Perkins played week 1. So when you're, there's a couple players that they are currently recruiting, like I want to say Dennison, and let's say Jakeen, but Dennison, for example, they can play nickel and safety. So, and when that's going to be, that versatility is big in Tony's scheme. So, but I think, like Wes was alluding to, this is the ideal situation for true freshman actually, get some burn. He's not necessarily playing, like at Tennessee, playing a high-powered offense with. So it's just going to be, I think an ideal situation. Hopefully he steps up, because I honestly, I don't mind playing. If it was just Trey Dean and he just, like a Steiner, just wasn't getting the job done due to lack of physical ability, because, Steiner was not a bad teammate. However, and I'm not saying Dean is a bad teammate. However, what he's demonstrating on the field is not what needs to occur
team ball
forward. He's not being a team player in terms of his on the field attitude. And I'm not saying he's being selfish. I'm not in the film room. However, he's showing selfish behavior in terms of his reactions. That's the best way to put. That's literally what it is. So when you cheer after somebody gets the first down, that's you're being selfish because you're only thinking about, hey, I just got a tackle. Now, if you make a tackle for loss, oh, please cheer. I laud you. However, what he's been doing is not the case. So, I know, what's it called? Corey Collars is backing Wilson up as well. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'm glad he's getting the opportunity. I know he's had a lot of problems adding the pounds on since he's been on campus, but if he is in fact safety number 2, backing him up, I like that his hard work has paid off. And what do you guys feel about that?
One thing I always heard about Collier coming out of high school was that he was a project, that he was probably a kid that was 2 to 3 years away, that he was not going to be. He was never going to be a kid like Kamari who stepped on the field his freshman year. So to me, also being in a new system, that shows growth. Absolutely. To me. And that's what you want to see. I mean, you want to see a kid, if he's labeled he's a project, he's not going to be ready year 1, necessarily year 2, but you stash him away, you coach him up, you put on the pounds, like you said, you get him in college football body shape. And, by next year, he might be playing significant snaps. That's the progression you want for your bench players.
Yeah, I think that's more of him, like Mike kind of alluded to, and you said it too, his body type. He's more of a free safety, and Kamani already has the body to play. Yep. I think Kyle was like almost a 5. I think he might be Rivers or something. He was a 5-star. So he has the athleticism better. So it's just that his body isn't SEC level body yet. So like you kind of said, Hersh, you stash away once his body is developed, because he has the athleticism to do it. It's just when you playing in SEC, you got to be ready to take those hits. So he's more, him and Kamari plays different positions. So that's why you might see Collier there as a free safety. Kamari already has the body of a strong safety, and he can just step on the field and play right now.
And kudos to him for sticking with it. I mean, this is the portal age. Like you said, on Rivals, he was a 5-star at one time. I know he was. I don't know if he finished as a 5-star, but he was still high. And it's very easy in this day and age for these kids to say, well, you know what? I was a 5-star. I'm not getting playing time. I'm gonna go somewhere else that'll give me a chance. And if he stays throughout this season, it'll really say something. Now, I mean, hopefully I didn't just jinx us and, he hits the portal immediately after the season.
I mean, I'm coming for your kneecaps. So.
Absolutely. Moving on down the line from the safety talk.
Hey, and Hersh, he actually did finish as a 5-star, number 31 in the country, 6.1 Rivals rating. And
I knew he was right there close.
Yeah, he was. And lastly on Collier, I think he had a tweet, saying, probably frustration, which I don't blame him. But, I mean, what a lot of folks don't realize, even if you're not starting, going one spot up the depth chart, seeing that, I am growing within the program,
one injury away
is huge. Like, even if you, I remember when I, just dressed my freshman year, that was just I'm calling my dad for, oh my goodness, I was excited. And you're literally just dressing because you're, in your mindset, you're like, I'm just running cards, so on and so forth.
But you're a cramp away.
Absolutely. I may cause a cramp. I may take his water with him. Who knows? But I'm one away. That's all people need to know.
Mike's having Mike sharing his Rudy moment.
Hey, listen, they don't need.
I say cramp because you don't want injuries, but cramps are not injuries. So,
yeah. Like I said, you're one. The guy cramp in front of you falling down, tripping, helmet coming off on a play, and anything. No, you better know where your helmet is now because you're the next man up.
Thanks.
Moving on from the safety talk, we're going to talk. A lot of people might be excited about this. The kick returners listed on the depth chart this week are Weston and Etienne. I know Wes has been waiting on that. Wes.
It depends on where they're at because I didn't have a problem with Henderson being back there. I just needed him and ETN to swap spots because the balls were being kicked to Henderson. I don't mind if ETN is still back there. I just want to make sure he's in the spot to receive the kick and not the up man. That's the lead blocker for the actual kick return. So I want to see how that plays out. But as long as ETN is still back there, and if he's not getting a lot of carries, he's my guy. So and we want some explosiveness back there, and it's good to put your running back there. I mean, his brother did it in college, his freshman year, and we see the explosiveness from him. So why not have him back there? But I need to make sure because I think Weston was returning kicks earlier with Henderson, and then ETN replaced him. So I just want to make sure it's not Weston replacing Hendo's spot. I need to see that swapped.
At the end of the day, the 9 guys in front of him still got to not hold.
Exactly. I wasn't even there to do exactly Hersh.
I think that's the biggest one, but I also think we don't have a soul in this roster, and I want every kick fair caught. I'm not even kidding because
I'm really not against it unless 7 catches it. I don't care. Maybe if he does because he's shifty and maybe he makes something happen.
Shifty's not gonna work and kick off like that. He'll work and punt, and you get a 20-yard gain. But seriously, what are the odds?
He might put one foot in the ground and cut the right way though.
Yeah. Does he have the breakaway speed? What are you looking at most? He
flips the
field up to the 40.
Yeah,
come on.
Trevor
he's not breaking that. He'll get what to the opposing 40?
You thinking of Johnson? You ain't thinking of
I'm
Trevor.
thinking of both of them.
You crazy,
Mike? I don't know what you were seeing. You sleeping on my boy Trevor.
I'm not sleeping. I'm just saying he's a. The first thing you say is shifty. I'm not thinking of a kick returner. I'm sorry.
Okay. Like I said, it don't matter if the other. I'm standing alone on this. If we can't get the other 9 to quit holding and blocking in the back, it don't matter what.
Yeah, to Hersh's point, that's what we need to do first. Hersh is right, but I would like to revisit this later when
absolutely
those
as Wes was alluding to a second ago. I know he got really excited because Justice is his man.
That's his boo.
That's his boo out of Sumter, South Carolina, where Wes resides. Justice Boone is starting over Princely this week on the depth chart. Hey, next man the hell up. I've said it before.
Yeah.
If you're not getting it done.
We've seen the flashes. I mean, Kentucky hit. They tried to kick him out of the game. Wasn't deserved. Glad they let him stay in. Referee made a good call on that. But I mean, Boone is flash. He shows effort. He like the ball is on the other side of the field. You see him tracking the ball. He plays like we saw him in the hype video. I'm a dog. If I will put that back up just because he's on the depth chart starting this week. When he was in the huddle, I'm a dog. He got me hyped for week 1 against Utah. I love Justice Boone. Glad he's getting his start this week. I thought him along with some other D linemen should play more. So him getting to start this week is not a surprise to me. This is one of the adjustments I wanted to see made. So I'll let you guys speak to that. You guys know I'm elated.
One of my things about Princely is, and before Mike chimes in, I've got one thing real quick, is Princely to me, you always saw him behind the play. If the run went his way, he was always running up from behind. He always seemed to be just slightly out of position of where he needed to be. Now, I don't know if that's because of he got blocked out of the play, whatever. I mean, there's multiple factors that can go into that, but I've seen Justice, like you said, flash more than I have Princely. So put him out there, see what happens.
And I actually saw Princely's flash more last year. That's could because he was more in a pass rush role. And if you remember, his go-to move was the spin move. And as a DN, you got to set up a spin move. Your outside foot got set up on the outside. You run up field a little bit. So that could be indication of that. So he may not be truly, at least at this point in his development, every down defensive end. And given how stout a build, Boone is, he may be more like a SAP build. He may be more well suited for that. So that actually may be more beneficial for the defense as a whole. So we get a more dedicated pass rusher, because we have, lacked the ability sometimes to a lot of times to get off the field on third down. So this definitely, I think this could be a better long-term play because they're also both returning next year as well. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. One more thing before we get to our last talking point about the depth chart. Austin Barber's starting for Michael Tarquin, who's out again. So no big deal there. I mean, Barber has shown the savage streak. Mike's man there.
Stand club.
But the last talking point I wanted to go over real quick was the heart of the defense, Ventrell Miller, listed as the starter on the depth chart. I'm in that ballpark of I really don't want to see Ventrell on the field more than a series or two in this game, if he even steps on the field in this game. I know he's the quarterback of that defense. We all know that. There's no question what he means. But if you can't win this game without him out there, maybe it's because of the young guys. Maybe, they're just trying to make sure they're in the right spots by having him out there, coach on the field kind of thing. But we're going to need him later on. So I'm not too thrilled if he actually plays in this game.
I actually don't want to see him play snap because, it may be where he can only, it's not going to get worse. But, a lot of times when you have an injury, you overcompensate. And that's how you get injured. You injure somewhere else. So with that being said, I don't want him to play. And I want Scooby. If Scooby was good enough to play, he's good enough to play this game. Hopefully we can get Wingo in there. I'm not putting much faith in that, but Scooby 100% needs snaps. So we need to find out through some snaps if this game and not only throughout the season, if we're going to need how heavily we need to pursue this position in the offseason, albeit through transfer portal or actually just transfer portal, because I don't like what we have right now on the depth chart.
Wes, my fault.
Yeah, no, this is extremely from you guys. I don't want to see him play this week or next week. To Mike's point, I'd rather see Scooby and Wingo and whoever else is back there to play against this team. Somebody we should blow out and shouldn't even be close. It's not this team is not even as good as South Florida. So
not even close to South Florida.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
South Florida was good.
No, they weren't great.
Exactly.
That's my point. I was just trying to get the fans.
We'll get to that in a minute.
A view of South Florida. Of who we playing, but yeah, no disagreement from me here. I don't want him to play. I know this is a 6-year. To me, he's already put enough on tape to be able to be drafted in later rounds, like 6th, 7th round. Maybe because he is a good run stopping type of linebacker. He could play a special teams guy in the league. Who knows? But I don't think he needs to do anything this week or next week that scout's going to be like, oh, I need to see more of Ventrell Miller. Well, maybe this week. I don't want to say next week we play with Missouri, but as far as this week, I don't think nothing he put on the film would say, hey, we need to draft that guy.
Guys, before we move on to talking about Eastern Washington, this really just popped into my head, and I wanted to ask you guys' opinion on it. Obviously, this game's going to be played on Sunday due to the hurricane. I would not expect there to be a lot of people there. You think that's beneficial for these young kids getting this playing time and not having the pressure of a full house on hand?
Not really. Not the guys that I see that are playing, like Kamari and Justice, and they played in front of a lot of people. They played week 1. The guys that we were talking about have already played. Yeah. So it's not like and then they played in front of Utah. So the Utah fans, not the Utah fans, but our fan base when we played Utah week 1, as far as Kamari. Now they're just starting. They already played. But
there's a difference in playing 20 snaps and playing 50, 60 snaps.
They might not play 50, 60 snaps the way
I
think we
maybe not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I feel you. I understand what you're saying, your point. But I don't think it'll have a big impact on their performance, especially defense. Maybe if you're an offensive guy, maybe. But as far as you playing defense, it's just read and react. Offense, you got to play offense is more nuance and things to it as far as doing things than playing defense. And then who we playing too won't matter. I think that's more of a key of as far as the game and them being able to play in the game, as far as playing Eastern Washington instead of playing Alabama week 1. I mean,
I think that's a great question. However, I think it's person by person. Like some people get, they play better under lights. Like, 90,000 people, let's line that crap up. At the same time, they'll play better, or like they can play a crappier, it's kind of like a scrimmage.
I think it'll say a lot about some of them if you can't.
I mean, if you're good, you're good no matter what. You're gonna play with it. If it's a practice, it doesn't matter. You end of the day, you have your pregame. You have your pregame meal. You're the night before. If you're drinking Pedialyte or whatever, you're not gonna go out, play video games, relax, do your playbook, etc. Wake up and go breakfast, do your walkthroughs. More Pedialyte, whatever your routine is, just keep your routine. It doesn't matter if you're doing a scrimmage. You keep your routine. So if you can't keep your routine, you're pointless to me. Like you're not a true football player. Because you're not a professional. I mean, or you know what I mean. So with that being said, if it's 50, if it's 30,000, if it's 90,000, if it's 102,000, I don't care. You need to be able to adjust. And that a lot of those players have been high level situations. So I mean, maybe not to that crowd, but like. If you're in high school, for example, and you're maybe you're a state title game and it's sold out hypothetically, and you play Texas high school football, that's more high school. Some towns, in Georgia.
Oh yes,
that's bigger than the Swamp in terms of the pressure because you're
absolutely.
Not first.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can, honestly, I would like you to expand on that because when I was with my buddy, he's talking about county. This county, we go to this county, this town. I don't. From Florida, we don't know. No, we're not. It's not like that. That pride's really not there.
Oh yeah.
So if you can kind of expand on that, I think they've already. You can argue they've been through the toughest part of their lives in terms of pressure.
Yeah, if you play it, say in Georgia, at like Camden County or Gwinnett County, Valdosta, places like that, you are that pro sports team, pretty much for that count. I mean,
guys that peak in high school, they're 50 years old, and they're looking at you.
That's the people putting signs in your yard that says you're the quarterback of the team, like you saw in Varsity Blues and things like that. It's real. I mean, that's real for some of these kids in Georgia. And
that's great insight.
It's crazy. Like you see like a show like Friday Night Lights where the town shuts down on Friday at 3:00. That happens. We're in my town. That happens. Signs on every business in town, and it's crazy how big time they make these kids. But hey, at least these kids now will have the experience of playing in front of a Miami home crowd. So,
I love it.
I slid that one. I slid that one right by Wes. He was not even paying attention.
I never missed Miami Troll.
I was slow. I was lagging. My internet was messing up. I didn't hear what you said.
I said now they're going to have the experience of what it would have been like to go to Miami.
I was thinking that, but I let Mike give you the pass that on to the alley up to you, so I didn't come.
Ooh. All right, guys. With that being said, our man Mike now is going to give us a little bit of insight into Eastern Washington. Mike,
I appreciate that. Like Hersh was saying, we now have Eastern Washington at home, and due to the hurricane, it'll be on a Sunday. So at a glance, we got Aaron Best, the head coach. He's entering his sixth season. He currently has a record of 1-2, finished, 7-6 last year. 4-4 in the conference with a, finished 7-6 last year, 4-4 in the conference with a loss in the second round of the FCS playoffs. I actually had that. My apologies on that record. They actually finished with a loss in the second round. They actually had a tremendous year last year. Eastern Washington, they actually have the infamous red turf. They have a projected record of 5-6 with 4-4 in the conference. That's per the College Sports Journal. They have a steep drop off from the success they had last year, and that's due to their former star quarterback Eric Barrier last year and moving on. Overall, they're a well-coached team who's known for producing highly productive first-year quarterbacks. So that's obviously something to keep in mind, given that their quarterback this year, as I was saying, is a first-year starter. Their impact players this season is going to be they got a few on offense. Starts out with a redshirt senior Gunnar Talkington, 61.3 completion percentage with 636 yards on the year, 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So he protects the ball. Second quarterback in a row, we have one of those. Wide receiver Freddie Roberson, 11 receptions, 214 yards, 19.5 yards on average with 2 touchdowns. Also, wide receiver Efton Chisholm, the third, 15 receptions for 125 yards, 8.3 average with 3 touchdowns. And now on the defensive side of the ball, they got a playmaker, defensive lineman Mitchell Johnson, last year's third team All Big Sky, 17 total tackles, 2.5 tackle for losses with 2 sacks. Now on a little outlook on the season there, once again, they have 3 games they've played so far. They have 1 and 2 scheduled. 1 and 2 scheduled in a year. Week 1, and they play Tennessee State at home. They won 36-29. Redshirt senior quarterback Gunnar Talkington was 29 of 46 for 348 yards with 5 touchdowns. He was also the team's leading rusher with 60 rushing yards. Now for the 2 receivers, we have Freddie Roberson, 6 receptions for 91 yards, and also Efton Chisholm, third again, 6 receptions for 53 yards. However, he had 2 touchdowns. But that also gives him 11 career touchdowns. So he has a knack to finding in the end zone. Their defense actually forced 3 turnovers on the day, 1 interception and 2 forced fumbles and they actually recovered both there. Once again, their defensive lineman, Mitchell Johnson, this is where he actually secured most of his stats on the year. He had 11 total tackles, 2 tackled for losses, and 2 sacks on the day. And they also had 3 players with 8 tackles. And on that day, though, it kind of shows, even though they did amass some decent stats on the defensive side, Tennessee State amassed 547 yards on 81 plays that day. So they definitely should be gouged there. Now, for week 2, this is where if we don't take full advantage of this team, we really need to look in the mirror, and the USF win needs to be – sorry about that. That USF victory really needs – it's not an anomaly, bottom line. They lost Oregon 14-70.
Who's Oregon's quarterback?
We'll get into that. Oregon scored a couple of stat lines on this. I'm not going to get too far in depth for obvious reasons. Oregon scored on its first 4 drives of the game, and they'd wind up scoring 10 touchdowns in the game, opening up a 28-0 lead. They punted more times than they had. And for Eastern Washington, they actually punted more times than they had first downs. So I think that's something we need to, keep a barometer on our defense. Keep that in mind. Gunnar Talkington, he had a abysmal time, 12-21, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns with 2 picks. Now, this is where things get interesting. Oregon, Bo Nix, who is not good at football, 28-33, 277 yards and 5 touchdowns. If he can actually have video game numbers, anyone can have video game numbers. That's including you folks, for anyone and everyone who's listening. Running backs. They had about 3 guys go off, 3 running backs with at least 7 carries and 48 yards. 8 on the main rusher is going to be Bucky Irving, 8 carries, 74 yards, 9.3 average, and 1 touchdown. So I wanted to list those 3 running backs because we obviously have a 3-headed monster. We have 3 guys that run the rock on it for us. So we definitely need to have our average up on for this week. Just once again, a nice barometer to go by for that Oregon game. Now for week 3, they had a close loss to Montana State. Gunnar, once again, quarterback Talkington had 16-21, 201, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Not any monster yards, however, he was efficient. The running back actually did show up though. Micah Smith, 13 carries for 114 yards, 8.8 average with 2 touchdowns on the day. Now the receiver, it's going to be Freddie Roberson, 2 receptions for 90 yards, and Chisholm's going to be 6 receptions, 53 yards, and 1 TD. once again, it's something to keep an eye on. Montana State's running back had 28 carries, 160 yards for 5.7 yards on average and 2 touchdowns. So just take away from that, season. They have inexperienced at quarterback. However, he does provide solid play. He doesn't, it's not crazy on the turnovers. And it goes back to they are a good program at producing solid, if not yet unspectacular players at quarterback in their first year. And they do have playmakers at wide receiver. So, I mean, what do you guys take away from that?
Like you said, their strengths are pretty much in the fact that they do have some playmakers that can put up some yards. But that's about the strength of their team as far as that goes. And an experienced coaching staff. I will say that it makes a difference. Coach has been there 6 years. So, I mean, but that's about all I can say as far as strengths of this team goes.
I don't have anything to say about them. As far as this game, I just look at it as far as our younger guys. But I keep harping on the schedule that we had at the beginning of the year and not having a lot of FCS schools to implement our scheme. So I just want to see a lot of our young guys play, the guys that fans been harping on, they want to see on the field. So I just want to see our guys. I'm not even going to talk about Eastern Washington at all. I don't see a point to. I just want to talk about our guys, and hopefully we get to see some things, some improvement from some of the young guys. This is week 5 for us, so that's all I care about.
Do you have a favorite? Just curious. I know Hersh and I were talking about. Do you have a favorite throw of Stockton on the year so far?
I never heard of her.
I was just kidding.
Man.
Sorry, I may be a large ass. And real quick for correction, I do apologize. They actually were on the season last year. Like I said, they did lose in the second round of the FCS playoffs. They were 10-3. So I do apologize about that. But pardon me. And but it's gonna be a good barometer. Is the bottom line is what we spoke on that, and not only based on like the Montana stat with the rush yards that they gave up. However, I think the biggest thing is just go off of Oregon. You saw what Georgia did. We're obviously not Georgia. However, you saw how they just got boat race. If they can, if Oregon can do that, and we should be able to do at least 3/4 of that. So I think that's something to definitely keep in mind. And obviously, the weather is not going to be the best, most likely. However, like I said, just so it's a good barometer. Hersh?
Bo Nix had 5 incomplete passes against them.
Bo Nix.
I don't need to say a whole lot more. Bo Nix also had 5 touchdown throws against them.
All I know is this. You could put Bo Nix out. It's raining right now. Bo Nix could be anywhere in the state of Florida and not throw a football and not hit rain.
Whoosh. All right. Well, we're not going to spend any more time on these guys because we just really want to kind of, like Wes said, we want to talk about our guys. There's not a whole lot else to say. We really shouldn't, obviously their weaknesses are what they are. They're not a very experienced team. They're not a very deep team. They're not an SEC caliber. Their weaknesses are huge. So.
Oh, and last thing, Hersh, unfortunately, we can't see the red turf.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
They got the infamous red turf.
Oh, do they? Well, that's too bad. That's so they can't see you bleed. So moving on to the Gators, guys. Moving on to the Gators. Let's talk about some areas of improvement we'd really like to see in this game. This should be, by all factors, a glorified scrimmage. It should be. This is what this kind of game is. This is a game to improve, to work on some things, to, like we said, get some young guys some snaps, and to show improvement. And that's what we're going to talk about right now is what we need to see as areas of improvement. And the top one, and we talk about it every week, but it continues to be a talking point until it's a consistent thing, is that AR needs to show consistency. And this is a great game for him to continue to build his confidence, to put up at least, hopefully, maybe for only a half, some ungodly numbers.
Madden numbers.
Yeah. I'm not sure I want to see him running the ball in this game. I mean, I don't feel like it's completely it should not be necessary.
And real quick on that, do you think that can mess up with his development?
It could. It could.
That's not him. You're asking him not to be him.
Let me say this: if it's there, take it. I'm not telling him.
But you're asking him. He's already done. He's naturally a guy that goes through the progressions. You are putting a guy who has shown he's not consistent. So you know what? You were like you overcoaching him, and now you just said to overcoach him again. You can't have it both ways.
My whole thing is maybe not call
design
quarterback draws,
but he's not really taking hits. It's like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson doesn't really take hits.
No. It's not about taking hits. To Hersh's point, this is something that I forgot to discuss on Sunday when we had Monday when we had the Raw reaction. I'm done with the Dan Mullen quarterback power. Now the go around the side, I'm good with that. But quarterback power, I don't want to see that. If it scrambles like Hersh is saying, I don't want to see any design. We shouldn't need design runs in this game. But to your point, Mike, and this is why I think you get on Hersh, and I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when AR was going through whatever. Tim Tebow, I heard, needed to be hit before he found his accuracy. So that was his way of getting to the game, to be tackled, to make sure he's involved. And once he got involved, some players are like that. Something needs to happen to him for them to be like, okay, it's game time. You know what I'm saying? So to Mike's point, maybe he needs to have a run to get him like, okay, this is a real game. You know what I'm saying? So to that point, I think to both of you guys' point, from Hersh's side, I don't think we need to see design runs, no quarterback powers. But if it's a scramble, then that's fine, and you slide. And maybe that gets him involved.
And I think that was actually on the Gator Football Podcast, who runs an amazing show. But just really quick, but what if that's what he needs? Like you said,
to get hit.
If he's that means he's brittle. Okay, so it's not going to work. You're delaying the inevitable. I'm not saying do it a bunch, but just don't switch your game plan off, because what if this hinders his development? You cannot coddle him. You can definitely.
I'm not saying,
and maybe not run it 4 times, run it 2 times, but you still have to get him. Like, you have to build.
I don't want to see the quarterback power because it doesn't work. Now that stretch run to the sidelines, I would want to see. That is fine. Like if the power run to the right and left, I don't want to see that power run up. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about him being hit.
So you're essentially saying you don't want to see what he did successfully last week. He was successful week 1 and week 4. Oh, amazing Madden numbers. Don't do it. No, because we're scared. That's what you're saying.
You're not hearing me. What I said was I don't want to see the quarterback power up the middle in the A and B gap. I want to see him on the edge. Was it run last week? On the edge.
Was it run last week?
On the edge.
I don't care. I just want what was run last week. That's it. If it was run last week, I don't care.
That's my point. That's why I said you wouldn't hear me. I can do the edge run, like the play he scored a touchdown on and the play he fumbled on. I want to see those, not straight up the middle. That's not working.
I don't. Maybe that's on our guards. As long as it gets him going. If one quarterback power gets my quarterback hurt again.
I'm with you.
And I'm not saying run the ball. Like you said, 6 times.
17 times. 17 times.
If it's needed 2 to 3 times as a part of a game plan to get him going for a half, it has to be done. And if those 3 plays gets him hurt, well, guess what? He's not meant to play football.
Yeah, that's not my point. Yeah, okay. I'm with you. I want to see him run, just not that quarterback, that stupid power.
But in an ideal world, I would agree with you. But what I'm trying to get at is, we just had him. Like I haven't rewatched a game.
17 carries.
All right, 17 carries. Most of them were outside. I liked it. The game plan.
Yeah, love that.
So Billy, they're getting better and better. More connected more in terms of the play calling. So I don't care what he calls. However, you just had his most successful game. So why are we like, just do it again? That's all I'm saying. Because you can't coddle him. Like if you go to what you guys were like, oh, I like Mullen. Mullen was right. He's getting overcoached. Well, just let him go. And if that's him running the ball, it unfortunately has to be it. And the only reason we're saying we don't want him to run it because he's brittle until proven otherwise.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I just don't want the power play. Screw that. Scratch that.
Why are we? And now, why are you saying screw that? Because you wouldn't say that with Tebow.
Because it's not gaining anything.
Did it with Tebow? We won a national championship with it.
It worked with Tebow. What I'm saying, we're not getting anything with AR. Run either it was AR or
it's just semantics right now. It's semantics. So I got you.
Well, one thing I would desperately like to see him work on, and we saw it. Obviously, he did a great job of it, especially late there in the Tennessee game. Is working through progressions and going through his reads. And I would hope that our offensive line would give him time in this game to be able to do that. To look down, maybe take some deeper shots, and really just see some of these guys really just get some big yak out there.
I'm with you, Hersh. I want to see that too.
Agreed.
Mike, agreed.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I just want to continue making thing. You know, I just want to continue on, and I want his mind to be developed. That's all. I want confidence to continue. He's playing well, and I just don't want anything to inhibit it. That's all.
And another thing we'd like to see improve, and I just mentioned it, was the offensive line should not struggle in this game.
At all.
AR should. I can understand you could get a blitzing linebacker might sneak through here and there. That's going to happen here and there, but this is a good game also for your running backs to practice their protection, picking up their blocks. So this is something we definitely need to see. We need to see the offensive line have a good outing and show domination like they did in the Utah game. And with that, we'd like to see our running backs make some plays. I mean, there should be holes open left and right in this game. I think y'all would both agree with that.
Yeah, that's something I have a discussion for in a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go further in depth. Unless you want to touch on it now.
I mean, we're talking about it.
All right.
Why
my
what
fault.
You can do later?
No, in terms of you said in terms of running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing like I put more. Looking at what Montreal has done, I've seen him do. Citizen as well. I know what Naquan can do, even though he's not the ideal.
You mean ETN, not Citizen?
Etienne, I'm sorry, man. I'm telling you, I'm about 85%, dude. I'm at 85%. Gotta help me out. I apologize.
Wow,
I apologize. I'm telling you, man. I thoroughly apologize, folks. No, so
for the fire.
Yeah, I'll take the L. No, but for real though, this I put it more in the O-line. There's no holes.
There wasn't last game.
No, like there hasn't been for like 2 weeks.
Montreal had some holes against USF. That's 2 weeks ago.
It's honestly it's ridiculous. I mean, you have the talent. You have arguably 5 NFL players there. You have how he was great. He's a borderline day 1 pick, but probable day 2 pick automatically on the O line there in Osiris. I mean, what?
I don't feel like we run behind Osiris nearly enough.
I don't think it was. It hasn't been him. He's not the issue.
But I feel like every time we run left, we go nowhere.
His garage has been getting whipped a lot.
Well, Ethan White last year proved to be the solution because our Russian attack went down 2 yards when he went out, so he was fine. What?
A lot of that too,
he may not fit the scheme.
A lot of that too is the development. Speaking about Kentucky and South Florida, a lot of it has to do with development. To Mike's critical point, critical, rightly so, assessment of AR. Him not being able to pass the ball has put a lot 9 to 10 guys in the box. I won't say 10 because the zone one receiver. But if you have 9 guys in the box, 8-man box, but a lot of times our center, and that goes to our center. I love him, but he's been getting whipped too up front. And if the D-line, if the linebackers are gapping through or safeties gapping through making tackles, that's fine. That means they have more guys in the box that we can block. But when the D-lineman, the interior D-lineman are making tackles, then that's on the O-line. But that goes to AR being able to pass. And I think that's what benefited him against Tennessee, because they just said, okay, we're going to challenge you on the outside to make these throws. If you show you can make these throws, then we'll get out of that 8-man front and we'll push our linebackers, our safeties back. And he kind of did that. And if he continues to excel at that, then that'll benefit the run game.
And the only problem with that is by that point of the game, we couldn't run it. We were behind and we had to throw it more.
And would you say, I know this game is, outlier given the talent disparity, but would you say, running the ball a couple of times with AR would open up that passing?
Yes, sir.
Like I said, keyword couple, nothing crazy.
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
Like I said, also, I think a few deep shots completed would absolutely, and consistency throwing the ball. Obviously, we can say that all day, but until people thoroughly respect him as a passer, they're going to continue to stack the box. And that goes without saying. I
don't even care if we complete them. We have to take the shots.
No, we're taking some shots. I'm not. I want to see. I like to see, like we saw this last week with the deep mesh concept with guys getting open in the downfield outside the numbers. I'd love to see a couple more of those effectively hitting Ricky in space open. Not where he has to slide down with the ball, not where he's catching it on his knees. He needs to start hitting some of these guys on the run.
And I think the deep pass, one sec, Wes, I think we got to go deep. You're telling me there's a huge difference, 20, 25-yard posts, consecutive post routes, stuff like that.
And that's what I'm asking for, Mike.
You got to run a go route. No, you don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking for, Mike. I want to see that, and that's what I'm saying, Hersh. Even before the Tennessee game, when it came to Utah and it came to South Florida and Kentucky, I didn't see those, what Mike is saying, those post routes where we're taking that 40, 50-yard. Even if we don't complete it, we have to let the defense know that we will attempt it. And that'll
I'd like to see him throw pat, like you watch. We run those level concepts, running back, tight end, receiver over the top, and more often than not, he goes to the lower level on that and never really takes that shot. And a lot of times that top level guy is open. And you're right. I know, Mike. That's a mental. But at some point, you've got to take those shots to show yourself that you can do it.
I mean,
if he takes a half second, to your point, if he takes a half a second, that guy is coming. He doesn't give him a chance to. He doesn't give him the half a second.
But I think that goes to what Mike's saying. I think he's already, before he's even bootlegged, he's already come up with the in his mind that I just need to get whatever I can get out of this.
If you can't pass the ball that day, I'm not taking that shot.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you're right. But
that's why he's doing it. Or he was doing it. This started before the breakdown of Kentucky, and even in Utah, he had that several times where he didn't take the shot. Or could you say it was the beginning of it, and he overshadowed it?
I mean, he was good at Utah. He
was hitting shorter on those flood routes when he broke. There was like
he's just looked hesitant to throw it at any time.
Yeah,
even when he was,
Henderson was coming open, but he hit short. Like the throws he hit short on were perfect in the Utah game. But if he gives it a half second,
he had some easy missed throws as well.
But I'm saying when he was involved in the game and he was hitting short on those flood routes on the naked bootlegs. But if he gives it a half second, Henderson is coming open on those routes, and he just didn't throw it.
Well, let's move on from all of that, because obviously we'd all know what we'd like to see in this game and what we're going to be looking for as far as that goes. Let's flip to the defensive side of the ball, where I think we need a lot more improvement actually than the offensive side of the ball right now. Obviously, we've already spoken about it with Trey Dean being out, Kamari getting the start. We'd really like to see some better safety play. I'm really just, golly, man, I'm just tired of seeing balls in the seam. I need to see my safeties either jarring the ball loose on some guys or jumping around, over the top, something.
I would correct that and say, or expand on it and say defensive backs. What happened? Did Jason Marshall first, he's had a great season. Everyone gets beat. Did he get beat over the top last week?
Yeah, he got beat on a spectacular play. I'm not going to take that.
I'm not saying, and it's going to happen. And unfortunately happened versus a number 11 team ranked, one of the top teams in the country. So, it is what it is. Can't win them all. And I'm I'm glad he's still still CB1. But, between who's going to be CB2? I know we got Jaden Hill starting, and Devin Moore's been playing well. Avery Helm, I guess he didn't switch out his cleat bottoms, so he's got benched. But I mean, where are turnovers? People wanted to blame Grantham last year. I mean, I'm not blaming Tony. However, we do have some new players, and drills can be done to put a more of a emphasis in the fall and spring camp to definitely put a more of an emphasis to getting the forcing more turnovers. And I haven't. Pardon?
Ventura did it. He did the punch.
I'm talking defensive backs right now.
He's talking defensive backs.
I get what you're saying, but as far as drills as far as the defense, period, we all even the deep.
The problem with the defensive backs is they're always tackling people by their dang legs and stuff as they're coming by them. They're not.
Yeah, I'm talking tip drills. I'm talking get the ball. And I've seen a couple like Kimber. I'm just seeing more overall. I think there should have been more like interceptions, for example. But if you want to talk about Miller, I mean, Miller is what Miller is. If you want to get down to Miller, I mean,
no. It's not about Miller. It was a teaching point that I don't think it's not being taught. I think is, to your point, essentially it has to be done on the field. I don't know if it's too big for them to forget. Granted, Miller has been here 6 years, so he's a veteran guy that knows when I make the tackle. I've seen it in the pros. I see they do it in college. That punch tackle thing that they do. We have to create more turnovers. It is point blank period. To your point, whether it's the DBs, whether it's strip sacks. I don't want to just even on Boone's sack of your boy was Levis. I want strip sacks. I don't want to just get the sack. I mean, I think Cox did it. Cox had a strip sack where Dexter got the interception. We need more of that.
Are you seeing it done regularly across on each level of the field?
I believe so. I believe with Basher.
You believe so? So. That is a black and white question. Because end of the day, if it's taught regularly, you name about 3 guys. There's 11.
I don't think it's a college football. And this is just me knowing football. I don't think it's a college football program that doesn't teach that.
Florida Gators. Pardon?
It's taught. I don't think it's a college football program that doesn't teach punching the ball out.
To what extent?
I think 80%.
I'm putting you on blast because you put a blanket statement. You put a blanket statement.
And I believe that it's taught. It's just not being executed.
All right. So bottom line, I'm not seeing. I mean, you're more welcome to believe it. You're more entitled to have your opinion. I'm not seeing it enough from our team across the board. That's all.
Let me expand on what you're saying. And I said this from the get-go when we previewed the season. I'm used to University of Florida DBs jumping passes.
Absolutely.
Safeties coming up with interceptions out of nowhere, and we haven't seen that for a while. Kimber was the exception to what is now the rule, not what used to be the rule, which was we picked off 1-2 passes a game.
Where'd Kimber come from?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I hate to say it. He ain't come from. He's not Florida bred.
I told y'all I safety play since Marcus May.
Hold on. Let Hersh got it.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was just saying since Marcel Harris, Marcus May, and Keanu Neal left, and with Quincy Wilson and Jalen Tabor. Remember they had the 2 pick sixes whether it was Kentucky and Missouri against Drew Lock. We haven't seen that type of DB play, secondary play, period. Since
C.J. Henderson was the last one we had.
Yeah, but I mean, as a unit, as a full unit, we can count on our safeties and our DBs to pick balls off and do things,
well,
it's been way far in between.
We got to start seeing something because elite athletes make plays. I mean,
correct.
Exactly.
And we're talking about like I said, we have a new staff now, and that's what I was at least trying to get at. And we have like Hersh was bringing up Kimber. Kimber transferred in from the University of Georgia. That's not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. Muschamp was a DB coach under Kirby last year. I don't care what the title said. Everyone knew it. So, I mean, take it for what it is. We're just not getting it done across the board.
No, there needs to be some work as far as anticipating and reading, keys of your quarterback. I mean, they teach that everywhere, but elite corners have it. That's all there is to it. We've said it several times. It's a good thing that they don't throw to Jason Marshall and you don't hear his name very much. That means he's shutting his side down.
Absolutely.
He got beat. All great corners get beat. You've got to put the great corners, put it in the rear view and shut them down next time. And that's how that works. So I look forward to seeing what, I know I'm rooting for the kid. He's coming back from his second huge knee surgery. I really hope he's got it in him to. Mike's telling me 3. I think it's.
Well, I know. I just know
2
he
or
was
3.
Hurt
He's had a lot.
He was hurt in high school.
He's hurt both knees, so the odds are stacked against him. The odds are stacked against the kid, so it's hard not to root for him because he's worked his tail off to get back on the football field, and hopefully we see some of what he flashed before he got hurt. So, you got one last point you want to hit on, Mike?
Yeah, just got one last question for the group. What school did Cox start out at?
Who?
Cox.
Georgia.
Who did West bring up as strip sack?
I mean, we're really going back 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's been here 4 years.
I'm just two Georgia boys. That's all
he
I'm
ain't
saying.
been strip sacking for the other 3.
Just saying. I mean, he has been.
Chaos. That's chaos. That's chaos. That's chaos.
He has been.
Chaos, Hersh.
Nah.
Coach Chaos.
He has been. What?
One last thing we want to hit on about things we'd like to see improve, obviously, and would be consistency out of the linebacker crew, especially if Ventrell does not play a whole lot. Some of these guys got to realize it's on them. They've got to step up. People got to take ownership, leadership, and claim their spot. I mean, it's time. You need the best dogs you got out there at linebacker, man. Linebacker is a dog unit, as Ventrell showed. Ventrell is a true dog. The rest of these guys, right now, they're just puppies.
Well, unfortunately,
Two's an old dog that doesn't know any new tricks.
Yeah, two is what he is, man. So I mean, I'm fortunate for the play he made. However, he is what he is.
Wes, anything you want to add on the linebackers?
It's underwhelming. I mean, I don't know if it's the recruiting from the past staff or the development of these guys, but they've been underwhelming. And I hope we hope Ventrell doesn't play. So hopefully these guys can put some on film that gives us hope that they can maybe produce in the future.
These recruits were not low-rated recruits that we have back there.
Correct.
I mean, these aren't just run-of-the-mill guys we picked up out of nowhere. These guys were highly touted recruits.
Yeah, and they've been coached by 2 different staffs, and we still have Shamar James getting more playing time than the guys that were here before him.
But I think at the same time, I want to say Scooby
it's easier to coach new habits than break bad habits.
Correct. You're absolutely correct. I think Scooby was more of a buck type, but I know Wingo was a DN. He's sitting there doing backflips at under All-American games. So he's not a natural linebacker. Shamar's a natural linebacker.
So my question to you guys: have we really recruited the linebacker spot correctly then?
Well, I mean, you did. That's a whole different staff.
Are you talking about the previous staff or this staff? Because remember, we don't talk about the previous staff.
I mean, you guys are bringing up Wingo and Scoob and said they were playing other positions. So the previous staff didn't really recruit any true linebackers.
I think Scooby
we
actually was more of a linebacker in the old scheme. I think now he's, you got to remember you're running a completely different defensive scheme than the last staff was as well.
Correct.
So guys that may have been slotted to play one position in the old defense may not fit the body type and that they want for this defense. It goes back to the wet puzzle pieces. It goes right back to that.
And two things really quick, it could be incorrect. I think Wingo, across the board was recruited to be a linebacker. He just maybe could not make the transition. Also, he just may not have that mindset.
I just think the linebacker recruiting has been underwhelming.
I'm not going to say it's been all.
I'm just not going to bring up. That's what I was going to say. Sorry. We also recruited kids who could play multiple positions. You got to keep that in mind. But end of the day, we're talking about a previous staff recruiting. So I don't know why we're going too far.
At the end of the day, it goes back to that previous staff did not develop these kids to be better than they are now. So here we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I said, it's easier to teach new habits than break old ones. And there's a lot of bad habits. And that's why you're going to see some of these younger guys get on the field first. They're learning the scene. They don't have those bad habits. So
I agree with that point. Yeah.
Even though Shamar James was recruited by the old staff, we have to keep that in mind.
But he wasn't coached by him, thank God.
Yes.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to our impact players of the week. We do it every week. Mike, who's your impact player this week? I think I already
know. This one was a tough one. You know what? I'm going to go Gerv. I need Gerv. I'm going Gerv. I think he has his breakout game. Even though I'm starting to have the feeling this scheme is not truly fit him. That's one of my guesses on it, but I'm going Gerv, man.
He shifted on us, man.
I did.
I see.
All right, Wes.
Well, with the new depth chart, I'm going with Kamari.
Ooh.
This is your chance to make sure Dean doesn't play another snap unless you got cramps. Because I don't like to say.
Well, he ain't gonna play even if he's got cramps because he's out.
I'm talking about for the future. I'm talking about for Georgia, for LSU, for Texas A&M. This is your every player always. It happened to Tom Brady, the GOAT. We all call him the best quarterback ever. He got on the field because of injury. Yeah, Mike, if you don't think Tom Brady is the best quarterback ever, then that's the conversation for off pod. But if Kamari has his opportunity, a lot of players, all you need, if I can get on the field, I'll show them what he has his opportunity to say, I should never be off the field again. I'm your guy. So I need him to go out there and make plays. To Mike's point about turnovers, make some turnovers. Make some turnovers in the secondary. Put your stamp and say, hey, I'm here. I'm that guy for the next 3 years. This year and the next 2 years. I don't want you to play 4 years. If it's up to me, don't play 4 years. Play 3 years. 1 and 2 more. So that's why I'm gonna pick Kamari. Kamari's my guy. I want to see him force turnovers. Be in the right place. Please be in the right place.
All right. I'm gonna go with number 7, Trevor Etienne.
My guy.
Well played. Well played. We listen to listeners' feedback.
I think Trevor's going to have maybe a couple of big plays in this. Maybe he does something on kick return. Maybe he doesn't. But I feel like we're gonna see some big numbers by his name at the end of the day, and that's what I'm sticking with. All right. We do this every week. Keys to victory. What are our keys to victory, Mike?
Run the damn ball. Period. Run the damn ball. Obviously, we want AR to continue in his consistency, but at the same time, we want to not coddle, but we want to be safe with him. So that's the biggest thing. Like I'm gonna go to last week, AR. That goes down to once again consistency. Play play responsibility football. That means know your assignment. That's why we lost the Tennessee game. That's just the bottom line. People didn't either know their assignments or they just messed up on it. I don't know, but that's the reason why we did. Don't play down your competition, because that's what happened to USF. I definitely think they took them too lightly. You could definitely say, Ventrell this, Ventrell that. Ventrell's not the quarterback. There's no excuse for what occurred. We have too much talent across the board, defensive line. So somebody needs to step up, because the talent is there, even if you're, down at one position. Now, lastly, somebody, and this kind of goes to what I just said, somebody needs to step up for Ventrell if he doesn't play. I know he's slated to start. Hopefully he does not play a down, because we need to find out if we have anything. Even if we don't have anything, if it's marginal play, we can get by. So somebody needs to learn. Hopefully Scooby can man that up and play SEC ball. That's the bottom line. You're raising SEC, you know what it takes.
Wes, keys to victory.
Good point, Mike. Yeah, I really want to see improved 5 linebackers. We talk a lot about the offensive line playing as 5 playing as 1. I'm not worried about the offensive line, or I'm not worried about the offense, period. My focus is toward the defense, to kind of harping on some things that Mike said. I want to see 11 playing as 1. I need everybody on the defense playing as a team, as a unit. Communication needs to be good. Everybody needs to be playing up to their caliber. I think we brought up the Oregon Stats. Mike did a good job with that, as far as saying that I think they put in as more times than they had first downs. So I need to see that same level that Oregon did against them. We need to have that same fervor on defense to shutting them down. They should not be. Maybe if they score that's in the fourth quarter with 2 or 3 minutes left, fine. But we should not be on the field, can't get off the field on third downs. There should not be long drives. Our offense should have as many opportunities to get wrinkles, do things, work on things as they want. It should be 3 and outs, AR out by mid-second quarter, because our defense keeps getting 3 and outs. That's all I want to see. To me, the focus is on the defense. I don't know if we need to do some field goals. I want to see our kicker maybe get some special teams, do some things. Hopefully ETN returns a kick, and that's it for me.
I just echo what both of y'all said. I want to see a little bit of all of that. My main take was defense, get off the damn field. Kind of like what Mike said.
Yeah.
I want defense. Jesus, please don't let me see 6-7 minute drives from these fools.
Nah.
If half of my first quarter is taken up watching them just drive down the field on a meaningless drive,
I'm gonna lose it.
I'm gonna go out in a hurricane. I'm not lying, man. Get off the field, defense.
I'm trying to brunch.
Right?
Messing on my mimosa account, man. Huh?
Sunday mimosas on deck. Let's go.
Jeez.
Hersh said he's gonna go out in a hurricane.
Man, I'm telling you what. That wasn't even a Miami joke. Damn. All right. Score prediction time. Wes, hit us with your score prediction.
85 nothing. What do we got, Wes?
Nah. It's crazy though. 52-7. 52-7.
Oh, okay. There you go.
52-7.
All right.
You're giving them a touchdown, huh? That's nice of you, man.
2 minutes left.
Jesus. I have no faith. I'm not gonna lie. I think AR will improve. I think he still needs to add tick. I'm not gonna, blindly, walk down a cliff like Wes does on a daily basis. However, what I will do, I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he has shown improvement. The O-line still, they've shown nothing, man. They truly have. They've just regressed the entire season, and nobody wants to acknowledge it. Guess what I am. So I'm gonna give AR. He's gonna win. Get wins for the offense. Him, Shorter, and Purcell. So those three alone. And last, So I got 37 Gators, 17 USF because
USF.
our man, I'm sorry.
This guy is.
I told you 85%, man. Eastern Washington. You guys want? I can do the breakdown of that team. Y'all can try it. But no, in all seriousness, 17. The folks at the red turf, Eastern Washington. They're gonna get 17 points. Their quarterback, he's solid yet unspectacular. Like I said before, I think they're gonna run. I think they're gonna run the ball down our throats again.
Okay.
So
You're a liar.
they're gonna get 17. It's gonna make it a lot closer. I think it's gonna be a little late score for us. And I think Richardson's gonna play 3.5 quarters.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wow.
Shock jock.
No, don't be disrespectful now.
Okay. Anyway,
I have rationale.
Your time is up. I'm going 44-10. Feel like we might try to kick some field goals in this game. Probably go 4 of 6 on 4th down conversions, because that's what we do. You know. 44-10. All right, guys, that's it for the breakdown. But you know it don't stop there. It's time for our weekly pick'em, and boy, oh boy, oh my gosh, look at it. Your boy Hersh firmly in the lead after an 8-2 week, 29-11 on the season. Hoo-wee.
That's because you followed me, Hersh.
Oh yeah, because Wes had a successful 8-2 week to climb to 24-16.
Yes, sir.
And the risk taker.
I got games going into 5 overtime or whatever it was against Clemson. So it was not even a risk. It was like
Mike went 5-5, and Wes tied him at 24-16.
Oh, we got the same record?
Yep, both 5 games out of first place. Oh boy, I tell you right now. All right. Well, guess what, guys? We ain't got that weak slate of games we've been dealing with for a few weeks now. We got some big boy ball this week. So let's start it off. Nick and the boys, Bama at Arkansas. Wes, you get started off.
I'll keep it simple. Roll Tide.
Oh, my God. He even said it. Gross. Mike?
Can you go for a second, please?
Yeah, Roll Tide. I'm going Bama.
He told me gross. He said it too. He's nervous. He's nervous.
You ain't picking Arkansas to win this game.
Pig suey, baby.
No.
Alabama's been living life on the edge, and it's not Bon Jovi for freaking this whole season, baby. And let me tell you,
half of our listeners are not going to understand that reference.
Living on a prayer.
I didn't understand the reference.
I can't help it if you don't love classical rock. But Arkansas in Fayetteville, all right, home of the Waltons. It's going to happen. Fresh off a tough, heartbreaking loss to the Aggies.
They should have won. Me. I should have been 9-1, but they lost.
Where they should. Listen, woulda, coulda, shoulda, son. All right, where they should have won. All right. Alabama's been skating by their teeth this whole season. They've been underperforming this whole season. They've been playing some cupcakes as well. But guess what's going to happen? They're going to hit when you hit Pig Suey.
Oh God.
You don't know it, and they got the transfer as well.
This is
a little
deep.
inside information. So I'm going the Hawks, baby.
All right. All right. He's lost it. Let's keep going. Oklahoma State at Baylor. Mike, you can roll that one out first.
Baylor.
Okay. That was quick and easy. Wes?
This might be my get back. I'm going to go with Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State.
He's a man, damn it.
But it's not 40. He's 52 now.
That was 12 years ago?
It was a while ago, man.
God, time flies.
Man, I got to
no longer pick
this one. If this game was this game was at Oklahoma State, I might ride with it. But man, I got to go with Baylor on their own turf.
Do it for T. Boone Pickens.
All right. The Demon Deacons of Wake Forest at the Mike Norvell crew, Florida State. All right, Wes, who's winning?
Give me them Deacons, man. Demon Deacons.
Oh my God, and he's out.
No, I'm here.
Was that a walk-off?
Nah, I'm here. Deacons, man.
I thought that was a walk-off.
Pick Mike Norvell.
Faking out the YouTube crowd. All right, I'm going with my boy. Went with him last week. It was a tough loss for both of us. I almost had a couple big time upsets this year, and I'm going with my boy again, Wake. Who has a better quarterback in this matchup, by the way? That's quarterback in the ACC. Take them arguably.
It's about time for Florida State to come back to earth. I mean, we know that.
Don't get me started on those bums.
These boys they've been living above their pay grade here for a few weeks.
I think they ran out.
To their credit, they've had a couple nights with Louisville, and Louisville win looks pretty good now, and LSU.
They ran out of PTO, man. They ran out of PTO.
Every team ain't gonna run a 5'8" corner out there to cover a 6'7" receiver
4 times.
Yeah,
whole game.
All right, another big one. NC State at Clemson. Mike.
Of course, I can go first.
Switching every time, baby.
Clemson.
Oh,
Will Shipley. And I like the development of
Mike's a big Dabo fan.
Yeah, DJ had a big game last week. I'm going back with the Tigers.
Yeah, Dan Mullen picked NC State to be in the playoffs. I know they're doomed, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Clemson myself. We know that's the kiss of death. If he thinks they're good, they probably are average. So, all right. Kentucky at the Lane Train, Ole Miss. Wes, you're up.
I'm going with Lane.
Woo-hoo.
SEC on the road, man.
Mike, who you got? Kentucky at Ole Miss.
Since Will Levis is not good at football, I don't think they can score with them. I don't think they can score with them. I'm going with the Lane Train.
Man, golly, we're picking a lot of the same.
I think it'll change more at the bottom.
I'm still a little peeved that Corvallis, my boys, couldn't get done last week.
I don't think Levis can handle all those cowbells.
What's happening?
You talking about Ole Miss? Ole Miss, not Mississippi State.
Oh, my bad. I get those two idiots confused. We'll get to them in a minute. Washington at UCLA. That's a Friday night game. Both teams 4-0. In what I'm sure will be a moderately
scrimmage.
What's the word I'm looking for here? Attended game.
Yeah.
No, sparsely. Moderately would put it at 40,000.
Mike, you pick it first.
Well, I got Washington.
Wes.
Yeah, I also go with Washington in this one. I don't believe in. I can't call his name right now, but Chip Kelly. Nah, they haven't played anybody yet either.
Yeah, I like Washington. I think they're rolling pretty good right now. Obviously, the crowd's not going to play into it, so it doesn't. All right, this might be a little tricky here. Texas A&M at Mississippi State.
Tricky for who?
Oh God!
Give me them Aggies.
Oh my God!
He keeps picking them. You lucked up and got that last week.
How'd I luck up when I picked? You don't remember the App State pick?
Oh my God, he's gonna live off of that forever. He could
1600.
go. He could go 500 the rest of the season. And he's gonna claim victory like UCF because he damn picked that game.
I'm gonna go with the Cowbells this time.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna pick the home. It's hard to win on the road in the SEC, man. It's hard. Other fan bases don't understand it. It's hard.
It's also hard to lose to beat an inferior team or a superior team.
Yeah, Mississippi State ain't got the dogs to score enough points on them. I don't believe. I'm gonna go with A&M myself. All right.
That's my get back.
Oregon State Beavers at Utah.
Going with the Beavers, baby. Oregon State.
Okay. Wes was eager to say. Was eager to say Beaver.
Yeah, because I want y'all to know that I ain't jump on nobody. I didn't hear what Hersh said. I didn't hear what Mike said. Oregon State, baby. Beavers.
To be noted that Utah's fine tight end is out for this game.
Not you don't give away my juice.
We said it in the last episode.
Yeah, I know. I said it Sunday.
I don't know if that running back's out of the doghouse, but I'm going with the Utes, man. They got one of the tougher environments. Actually, they have the toughest environment in the Pac-12. Arguably, that in Oregon. Corvallis at night is a different story. I got robbed of a nice dub last week because of that, but no, I'm definitely going Utah.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Utah myself. They got a good backup tight end. They still got an outstanding running back, and they're going to continue to show why that win over them was actually a very, very good win for us.
And they have the best quarterback on the team.
I'm going to walk Hersh down, baby.
All right, walk it down, big dog. All right. A game we don't truly care about, but we're going to pick for the hell of it anyway. LSU at Auburn. Whew, gross.
You really had to put this on here?
It's Mike's turn this time.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
I just picked Oregon State first.
That's right. You did. I apologize. Okay, Mike.
Well, Auburn should be on an interim coach right now, but they're not. I got Jaden Daniels. I'm not even making a joke about that.
I got the Tigers.
Coattails.
If LSU loses this game, there might be more questions about Brian Kelly than there are about Harsin.
You talk about his family.
Y'all didn't catch that. I said Tigers, and both of them are Tigers. Mike thought I was riding his coattails.
No. Auburn's a War Eagle. If you're gonna claim in, you got to say War Damn Eagle or whatever that. They've got like 4 mascots, so you didn't say the right thing.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm going with LSU.
All right, and here's the team friend of the show, Texas Tech at Kansas State. Kansas State fresh off their upset last week of Oklahoma.
It wasn't an upset. If you've seen I think they beat them. They're like the only team that's beat them, or like beat them like 4 out of 10 times, something like that. At the top of the team, it's not something crazy stat Saturday night. Give me a Wildcats, baby. The Fighting Snyders.
Wes?
Yeah, I'm with Wildcats as well.
Of course you are.
Really? They're at home. Got to pick the home team.
Give me Texas Tech, baby. I don't ever pick an upset. Give me Texas Tech.
Coin flip game, got to go with the home team, man.
I don't ever pick the upset. That's why I'm in the lead. But I ain't got no money on it, so I'll pick that one just for the hell of it. Guys, another great episode. Just a shout out real quick. We want to give guys, due to some the game being moved and some personal family issues, we will not be doing a raw reaction this week. Hopefully it won't be needed anyway. Hopefully the reaction would be, all right, we blew these guys out. Not a whole lot to talk about. We'll give some, because of that, on our next episode, we'll give some brief reactions just at the beginning of the show. They'll be very brief and very to the point after we do our recruiting rundown. But with that being said, guys, it's time to get on out of here. But we want to say once again, guys, all of you in Florida in the path of this hurricane, please be safe out there. Don't take any unnecessary risk. Take care of yourself and your family and just wait this out and hope everyone's okay. Our prayers, thoughts are with you. And it's always go Gators. Guys, anything y'all want to add?
Before Mike goes, I just want to say I hope that AR gives you and Mike something to talk about this week. Everybody knows I'm in on his bandwagon since day one.
I ain't said nothing negative about AR all show.
I mean, not this week. I'm just saying, like, I'm hoping that he gives you guys
I hope he does too.
Yeah, I just want him to give you guys.
There's bandwagon is blind hope. So I mean, we can't. I can't contribute to that.
I mean, the guy just did. I think he just had the most yards in SEC play.
Follow it up. That's all I ask. Follow
Period.
it up.
That's with Danny Wolfel, Rex Grossman, Kyle Trask, Tim Tebow.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So I just want him to give you guys some hope. The same thing I feel. So I hope he does that.
Hey, okay. I mean, you ever heard of Vanilla Ice? He had one good song.
Phenomenal song.
I mean, you got to follow it up with a hit if you want to keep being a star, baby.
That's what I hope. That's what I hope.
You ever heard of Milli Vanilli?
Well, they faked it. They didn't even have any of their own hits.
Yeah, no comment.
But yeah, no, I mean
that's like AR went out, but Engel was actually throwing the passes.
Yeah. Wrong analogy, Mike.
No, I knew it. So, anyways, no, I hope he does well as well. Also, but no, just everyone be safe with the hurricane, especially up north or in the Gulf. Better yet, and if not, if you need any help or anything, just always
reach out.
Bateman got us.
Bateman got you.
Bateman got you, man. He's off Saturday, so not recruiting. He's not recruiting.
As always, make sure you check us out on all your podcast platforms. We're available on all of them. Give the episode a download, or if listening to a podcast on the radio or your iPhone or whatever isn't your speed, go check us out on YouTube. Respect Our Decision. Subscribe. You can see us acting like fools and laughing and cutting up. And Wes disappears a few times a show to go to the mystery place that we don't know where he goes. I mean, we have a great time on here, and we appreciate y'all tuning in with us. And make sure you go check out. We got a Respect Our Decision exclusive going to be up on YouTube of Mike in the trenches hanging out with Knoxville's finest rapper, Andy Vall, or whatever his crazy name is. The
nice guy, by the way.
Absolutely pleasant guy.
Can't even lie.
I understand why he gets grief on Twitter, because that's what Twitter is. But
truly nice.
Remember, some guys are actually nice human beings away from social media apps. And just because he reads his raps off of a piece of paper,
he did. But he did freestyle.
But
for the ROD exclusive.
Okay, I go check that out. If you want to hear it, you got to go check it out. I'm not giving it away.
Darth Vader may be on the actual track. He
did drop some Vader on there.
Straight bars.
It was sick, man.
Straight bars.
He looked right into the camera and delivered. Wow. Eminem has never faced such pressures. So, guys, as always, if you want to support us as creators, check us out on Patreon. Respect Our Decision. We appreciate every one of y'all for your support, your love, and just always the kind words of encouragement. And we're going to just try to keep getting better and better for y'all, because if you're not getting better, what is it, Mike?
You're getting worse.
That's right. Wes, send us home, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Hersh. Again, thank you guys. Follow up on what Hersh said. We love the support. We love the interaction. If you find anything that you need to tell us as far as about the podcast, any talking points, anything like that, reach out to us. And as far as our veterans go, support our troops. Anybody out there that's a veteran, I know someone that's a veteran and wants to or trying to get benefits and has some questions, please hit us up. And we will get back to you ASAP. And if we don't know the answer, we can get in contact with those who do. So, again, thank you guys. We love the support. And go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Thank you guys for checking us out. Catch you next week.